We're with Don Lay. He's the president and director for Medallion Resources. Medallion Resources is on the Venture Exchange, MDL, and you're on the OTCQX as well?
That's right, Tracy.
And it's MLLOF? Did I guess right?
You got it right.
Okay. All right, well, let's get right into it. I want to ask you right now, with the market conditions, what gives you, Medallion Resources, a competitive advantage in the rare earth sector?
The rare earth sector is, in the most part, in its infancy, really. And what we've done is we've sort of applied some different brain power, if you will, to look at the sector in ways that hasn't been looked at least in the junior world, for a long, long time. And specifically, we're looking at other ways of getting to production sooner. The traditional ways of taking a hard rock deposit through the exploration and feasibility, metallurgy, and all the additional steps is going to be sort of a 10 to 15 year process from soup to nuts for these companies. We're looking at ways of speeding that up, and we think we've really come upon an approach which is really going after one of the old sources of rare earths as a way to get to market very quickly.
I think what you just said was critical, and that's speed to market. And I think that you have been looking at a different angle in working with the rare earth sector. Can you tell me what the missing link is that Medallion has?
Well, it's interesting. The missing link is really kind of going back a little bit into history. And if one looks at how rare earths were processed when they started becoming processed, say in the 1880s or 1890s, through to the middle of the last century, the bulk of rare earths were the source of the bulk of rare earths were from mineral sands deposits and the mineral monazite, which is a mineral that runs typically about 50 to 60% rare earths. And even though it was a very small production, that's where the bulk of the production for rare earths came. Really until the original Molycorp mine, Mountain Pass, came into production in the 1950s. So we're going after this traditional source of rare earths, monazite, which has really been ignored by the market, and we think we got a great opportunity to move quickly with getting monazite to market.
So Don, with the monazite advantage, can you tell me a little bit more about monazite for those listeners who are not familiar with this?
Certainly. Yeah, monazite is a commonly occurring mineral. It's slightly radioactive. It's about 50 to 60% rare earths, where it's found in a number of hard rock deposits, but most often it's found, in fact, even processed from mineral sands. And the mineral sands industry is a small part of the global mineral industry, although it's say a $10 or $15 billion a year mineral. And mineral sands, though, are typically processed in a number of places around the world: Australia, India, Brazil, for their titanium and zircon content. And that's typically what they're being processed, and sometimes for iron and a variety of other byproducts as well. But that's typically what they're being processed for. And the monazite, which is a part of those processes, is really just discarded and ignored at this point in time. So we think the opportunity is really to go after that monazite and process that.
Okay, well, I'm intrigued by two items that give you a competitive advantage. Number one, you mentioned speed to market. How fast can you extract the rare earths from this monazite?
The monazite is out there, and it is available. So then we're really talking about agreements for offtake and setting up the processing for monazite, for an independent processor of this monazite mineral. So from that perspective, really, there's no proving up to being done. The metallurgy is well known and well understood, and has been for many, many years. So really, we're talking the order of 2 to 3 years. Potentially, we could get to market with some rare earths.
Okay, well, that's very exciting. Now, you also stated that 50 to 60% of the monazite contained rare earths. Now, I did some quick reviews online on Rare Metal Blog, and I noticed that they listed lanthanum and cerium, for instance. Can you tell me if that's correct, or which rare earths are actually in the monazite?
All rare earths deposits, for the most part, contain a vast majority of the rare earths are always the light rare earths. This is no different in monazite as well. Although monazite does contain a fair number of heavies, a good distribution of heavies depending on the deposit, as well as a significant amount of neodymium. So from a processing perspective, it's got a very, very attractive distribution.
Okay, so I guess then you would be prioritizing offtake agreements.
Correct. We're prioritizing offtake agreements and doing analysis and where would be the best jurisdictions to do the processing for the monazite.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining me today, Don. And for more information, go to medallionresources.com. You have an excellent website. Thank you.